Welcome back, everybody, to the Freelance Network Podcast, a podcast by content creators for content creators. So I'm Luke,
I'm Cassie.
and today we are joined by a very special guest, my boss, Brendan Walsh of Oakleaf Media.
Hey guys,
How you doing, Brendan?
I'm good. Thanks. Just gonna put this down. That was dumb. Good. How's it going?
Good. So Brendan, talk to us a little bit about you and like your experience in college, because you went to Pittsburgh University. Was it UArts Pittsburgh?
The Art Institute of Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So talk to us about that, like your experience going there for filmmaking.
Okay. So I started out after I graduated from Pinelands Regional, and I started out at a really small college called Franciscan University, and I knew I wanted to do video production stuff, film work, but they didn't really have the program for me there. I didn't fit in, I think, culturally at Franciscan University. So I transferred out and I started at Art Institute of Pittsburgh, and I was commuting for a while. It was a special time in my life, but to be honest, like most college programs, it pretty much is what you put into it, you get back. And I made a lot of friends. Not a lot of friends. I made a small group of friends actually that all had similar dreams and goals. And what I took from the Art Institute of Pittsburgh was more that small network of people than necessarily what I learned in class, especially being that it was like 2008 or 9 when I went in there. Things were changing so rapidly in media. I was still shooting on tape going into school there. I was using like a Panasonic DVX camera, shooting on tape and ingesting tapes into computers. And by the time I graduated, HD was exploding on television, and everybody was shooting HD, and everything was changing so fast that the stuff I was learning, the fundamentals were all the same, but technologically, those things were just changing. So the way I say it to some of the younger people that I talk to now is like I could have maybe gotten my degree on YouTube, but I could never have made that network of people and worked on some of the projects and learned things through doing that I did in college.
Yeah. So then after college, what was like your approach to finding work? Because also, like you said, media was changing then. So obviously it's a little different now, but like for you, like after graduation, what was like your first steps?
My steps started a little bit before graduation. So I worked at video stores all through college, because it was still a thing. It was like right before that tanked, sort of toward the end of my college careers when video stores went out. So I worked at them. They were phenomenal. And that gave me the leverage to, that gave me a little bit of income and helped me to watch a lot of movies and stuff. And I started out basically doing shorts. I found an online video contest. I can't remember what the first one I did was, but it was like the prize was, no, I can't remember now that I say it. An old teacher from Pinelands reached out to me and said, I have this band that I really love, and the band is doing this video contest. You should do the video. And I was like, all right. So I made this like silly video for the contest, and I won like $300, I think, or something. And it was like incredible. I was living in the projects in like Steubenville, Ohio, and I had $300 to my name. So I got this little idea there that maybe, this one contest is not the only one out there. So I started Google searching video contests online, and this was basically the advent of that. It was a marketing play. Companies were just putting out video contests for, to gather up content and to draw up a buzz around whatever they were marketing. And I started doing contests like religiously. That was just what I did. It was like, I'd find a contest every, say, couple of weeks, and I would look at what the brief was for the contest. What did you have to do? Did you have to write a song? And it was always a video thing around that time. So that was maybe my second year in college. And I started winning them like a lot. Like I won because I had a strategy to doing the contest. I would look at them and say, how many entrants are in there now? If the contest closes in 2 weeks and there was 100 entrants, then you had a really good chance of placing in the top 10, and usually the top 10 would always get a prize. So ultimately, I won my first big one. I think I got put into an Arby's commercial, and I won some money and like a year's worth of Arby's. And then the next one, I won like $10,000 for making furniture talk in a commercial, and then I won like $50,000 worth of travel through another one. So I just did these nonstop, and that was my entry before I was out of college. It was basically my full time thing. And the Arby's commercial was turned out to be a SAG actor's job. So I started getting residuals for being on television, and that was like, better money than I had ever made. I didn't even know it was coming, and it would just show up to my apartment, and I'd be like, whoa, I'm making money now. And so that was kind of my in. It was, started on a lark and then started making money.
So then,
Oh yeah, no, I just had a question before we like move on with like your career and stuff. Back when you were in like high school and stuff, how did you know you wanted to go into college for film? Like what motivated you to go into that?
So I had a best friend in high school who is now one of my two business partners, and we were always doing drama together. We always, for every class that needed a project, it was always video. So we just did this. And Kyle, that one was Kyle. He owned a camera, so we were always using Kyle's camera to make, our funny little videos. Shout out to Junibrow, and some of the other horrible things that we made as kids.
it's like vintage 2006 YouTube vibes.
Probably earlier than 2006.
Yeah.
So I knew then that I wanted to do something with. At that point, I wanted to be an actor. It was like drama was my thing, and I wanted to do something along those lines. So the first college I went to was just sort of because my brother went there and my sister had gone there, and I kind of was familiar with it, and I didn't think about going to any other school. So I went to that first one, and Kyle went to the Art Institute of Philly. And when I saw what Kyle was doing at the Art Institute of Philly, I saw the cameras and the cage where he could take out equipment and stuff. I was like, I'm doing the wrong thing. I have to do that. So yeah, that was I kind of followed in Kyle's footsteps.
Shout out to Kyle.
Yeah.
He's definitely not listening to this. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
So-
yeah. No, go ahead.
Okay.
We're good.
So then, I mean, I'm kind of guiding this because, like, you've told me your life story already. But so then after that, you found yourself another gig, right? Like after school.
Yep. The contests sort of led to my first freelance work. A couple of those angel clients in the beginning who kind of just see what you're doing and they say, hey, can I kick you some money and you make me this thing? So it started like that, and that sort of morphed into weddings. So for about a year, toward the end of my college career and before my first job in this field, I was just sort of doing freelance and doing weddings. And Kyle lived in Philadelphia, and I was living in Pittsburgh still. So there was some travel. I eventually commuted back to Jersey, but it was really a year, probably, give or take, of me and Kyle just doing random freelance stuff. And then I got a message that somebody that I knew through a family member worked at a company that needed an editor. So I reached out to them and went in for my first big boy interview, and I got hired as an editor on my first and technically like one of my only TV projects, which was really cool.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about that job.
That was for a company called Two River Pictures out of Red Bank, New Jersey. Two River, they do a lot of food-oriented stuff, Food Network and like Scripps Network. And that specific show was called Good Food America. It was a sort of a what's the Guy Fieri, like Diners, Drive-Ins. It was that setup of a show, basically the host goes to these cool places and tries new foods. It was my first legitimate editing job that you had to cut to time, you had to cut to act breaks. So I learned a lot of disciplines there. I worked under a guy named Brian Foote, who is he's a senior editor, still a partner there at Two River, and he showed me the ropes. It was such a fun time. We shot a lot of other projects, but that was, it was my entry into the world of professional media creation. Mm-hmm. And everything that I learned there, I still use today.
Yeah. So then now, I mean, you've mentioned Kyle, but so from that job, now I know about Oakleaf now. Was there anything in between there or Oakleaf, or is that when Oakleaf kind of had its beginnings?
That was when Oakleaf Oakleaf sort of started before that. Kyle visited me in Pittsburgh one day, and we knew around the time where I was leaving college, we sort of knew that we wanted to do this for the rest of our lives, but we knew that we weren't at the level that we wanted to perform at. We're still not at the level we want to perform at, but we had the idea for Oakleaf then, but recognized that we should put it on a shelf. So we basically got like a Vimeo. We bought the domain. We sort of set up the infrastructure for the web presence of Oakleaf probably, I want to say 3 or 4 years before we actually launched. And this was before that job, and we didn't launch till maybe a little while after that job that I had. So when I lost that job, they were downsizing. So it's sort of the way it works in some television production, as far as I understand, is if you're on air, then you bring on a team of editors and a team of people, and then if you're off air, you don't need to, so there are larger companies like Endemol that do like big TV productions that kind of they fluctuate with the seasons and what they're doing. So I was let go from Two River very amicably. I worked for Two River for another couple years. I still keep in touch with them once in a while. I did freelance for them, but then Oakleaf started up.
Yeah, so talk to us a little bit about, because I mean, I've mentioned Oakleaf so many times on this podcast now. So like, why don't you tell us like what Oakleaf Media does, like who they are and like what they do?
I have 2 partners in Oakleaf Media, Dave Nislik and Kyle Griffin. When we started out, so Dave was producing music all through that time that Kyle and I were at our respective art institutes and doing freelance. Dave was becoming a very talented music producer, and that was his path. He was in bands that toured and stuff like that, and he was getting incredibly good at that. And then he started taking on other video. He started doing video media towards the tail end of his production, realizing that he could make a lot more money doing that. Although he was uber talented in the producing, there was more money in the video side. So we recognized that he started the contest thing. So Kyle and I saw, hey, Dave's doing contests now. Maybe we should partner up with him on a contest. And this was the tail end of my work at Two River. And so what happened is we just started doing contests together. Again, sort of winning those contests on a regular basis. We started freelancing together. And there was a moment in Dave's old house in a kitchen where we kind of sat down, and the discussion was, hey, we love movies. We want to make movies. It's always what we've wanted to do. And we blocked out our first movie idea together. And I think that was kind of like our first, like, this is real, So that's what we are. We're a small production company that dreams of making feature-length films. We're not exactly where we want to be yet, but currently we do documentary production for nonprofits and companies, commercial production, and we work in any spare time that we can find on narrative scripts for feature-length films and television. We have yet to sell those things, but it's a long game.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I know you guys hired Luke as an intern last spring.
September.
Oh yeah.
So it's been over a year.
Okay, so last fall.
Yeah.
Did you recently just start hiring like interns, and how did you find Luke, or how did Luke find you?
Luke found us. I don't know. Luke, how did you find us?
Well, so one of my oldest friends, Mac Callan, shout out to Mac. He had interned with you guys, I get the summer before I started interning with you. And I was like, kind of like in senior year, Stockton, you need to do an internship to graduate. I had no clue what I wanted to do. And Mac just texted me one day while I was being stressed out about it. And he was like, hey, do you want to like work for this media company? I was like, yes. Like, yeah. And I was like so nervous before my first day. I like literally was texting Mac like, what do I wear? Like, what do I do? And he goes, their audio guy just wears sweatpants every day, so you're good. Yeah.
It's not like that.
Yeah. So my first day, we were filming the Ocean County tourism commercial, and it was on like some campground, I think.
Mhm.
And you still do this to me where you don't text me where I have to go until
Yeah.
like after I'm supposed to be there.
Mhm.
So like I knew generally where I had to be. And this is like my first day, so like I didn't want to be late or anything. And I'm like there, and I call him. And I'm like super nervous because I've never met you. I was like, "Where do I go?" And you're like, "A shuttle's gonna pick you up." I'm like, "A shuttle? What am I doing right now?" And then we're just filming people kayaking and walking in the woods and stuff.
Mhm.
But my first day was really fun. Like I just remember like thinking like these guys are cool. And then afterwards, you texted me a gif of like Napoleon Dynamite, and I was like, "Oh, he's cool." Like I'm not stressed anymore about this. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I found them, but
Okay, yeah, because I
Yeah.
wasn't
and then
sure.
they got stuck with me.
I wasn't sure because I know a lot of companies like reach out to schools and they're like, "Hey, we need an intern." Like, I'm not sure how big
Well,
Oakleaf.
I mean,
really.
Cameron, another intern, she reached out because they went to the same high school, and Pinelands has their seniors do an internship. So she reached out to them to do an internship, and then Mac did an internship through Rowan. So all of us kind of found you guys. I
Yeah,
guess.
that's how it's happened for us. We had talked about bringing on interns a while ago, but we are very, very busy. So it's just myself and my two partners, and now Mac works for us part time. But we have a hard time finding time to work on our business. You know what I mean? We're always working in the business. We're always making things and shooting for clients and editing. So it's been a wonderful gift that people have found us like like these guys. Yeah, we've never really. I don't think we've ever really reached
For the
out.
brand.
Yeah, Pinelands was
For the
the
brand.
the first high school that asked if we took interns, and was like, I guess. Yeah, I mean, is that legal? Sure.
Like, are we allowed to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty low key, but it's been awesome. You
Yeah.
know, and it's led me here.
Yeah.
Would you guys ever think about like doing a partnership with a school like Stockton? Maybe just like have that and maybe have their department send people that they think are, worthy of an internship outside of campus to you guys?
I would absolutely love that. Yeah, I mean, we certainly do it already. The challenge, I guess, would be in the curation of people, because we've gotten people just through the fact that they've reached out to us. The people that we've gotten have been driven people.
Yeah.
And it's hard for us. Like I said, we're very busy working on the projects that we're currently doing to catch somebody up to speed if they're not so much a self-starter.
Yeah.
So having people like Luke and Matt and Cameron, who he mentioned,
Oakleaf Jr. Yeah, we dubbed ourselves that.
gave themselves a nickname.
Yeah.
That's been awesome, because those people, I don't have to manage as much as some other people that I may have to manage. That I haven't had those types of interns, but
Yeah.
I could see that being a pitfall. But absolutely, we would love it.
Okay. Yeah. Just question, because we're just trying to grow our department here, so it would be good to have like media companies
Yeah.
Yeah. And
reaching out to us as well too.
so I guess what you guys will have to do is put like a lower third that says like where we should, if you're
Yeah.
somebody like me,
Yeah.
how do we do that? Because
Yeah.
I actually don't know, and I may have at some point tried that maybe a year or two ago. I might have reached out to Rowan or something, but it was like I don't know, when I'm a guy that owns a small company, all I know to do is like go on the website and maybe call a department, who I also know is super busy, and they're, they may not have the time to have the exchange. So if there's a specific route for it or a specific person, it'd be awesome to see that info for me and other people like me.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because I know we have just at Stockton alone, we have someone who runs a professor that runs the outside internships. So
Okay.
you have to go to that person to be assigned to.
Remember all the paperwork I had to do?
Yeah,
Like all the forms we had
Yep,
to sign.
Yep.
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
to get accredited through the process or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Although I think another intern in the future would have to do less paperwork, because like for me, like I did like the groundwork paperwork of like this is their business, this is where they operate, this is what they do, so it's a little easier. But yeah, so now we've talked about Oakleaf. Like, what do you specifically do at Oakleaf? Like, what is your? Because I mean, I know you have many jobs through there, but like, talk about some of those.
Yeah, I think so what I put out to the public is basically I'm the director and editor. I tend to also produce things, so putting the shoots together editing was really my path to all of this. That was my first love, and still is probably my main love in this field.
Yeah, you're wicked at Premiere, bro.
Wow, thank you. I was wicked at Final Cut before they did the X thing.
Yeah. Nobody likes
I mean,
Final
we
Cut
started
X.
in whatever. It's, to me, it's like Premiere, DaVinci. I think DaVinci's the real leader, but it's sort of irrelevant what you use. It's like the fundamentals are usually the same. They've been doing it with scissors, 100 years before this. But I forgot the question. Sorry.
Well, you got into the editing tangent.
Yeah.
No, just talking about like your jobs and stuff at Oakleaf.
Yeah, I for the most part. So Oakleaf also has. We are sort of the umbrella for another business called Real Estate Cinema, which Dave grew by himself, which is high-end like photography and videos for real estate. And that business has really taken off and has been incredibly successful and busy. So Dave runs that side of the business, and I sort of run the Oakleaf side, which is managing the clients. We really don't do marketing in the traditional sense because we are so small. We're always playing catch up with the clients that we currently have and the dream projects that we're working on. So I manage the clients that we currently have, and anything from pre-production, script writing, and just like your podcast, we really manage a bench of freelancers. Is kind of the name of the game for a lot of production companies. We don't really staff. Dave is our director of photography. Kyle does our audio and our drone, and I tend toward directing. We could at any time probably swap those roles and be perfectly fine. Although Dave is the better DP of all of us, I'd say. But we had to wear all those hats coming up the way that most people that do these programs do. So I'm hesitant to say like this is what I do and this is whatever, because we have to do what we have to do at certain times for certain jobs.
Well, I think that's what makes Oakleaf and other media companies like you guys unique in a sense that like you think like, oh, Brendan's the director, editor, that's what he does. Well, I mean, you and I have been out on shoots where we do all of the jobs, and like it's just because we have to do what we have to do. Like it's just based on that day. Where there's days you make me do audio, even though I don't like doing audio, but I know I got to do audio because Kyle's not there.
It's a scale thing. For me, my growth in this in my career has been about learning how to put the money on the screen, learning how to manage a budget, learning how to pay people what they deserve to do the best work. And so that being said, on a perfect day, I tend to be the producer and director on things, which is not perfect or not ideal, but and we've hired out a large team of people that do all the other things.
Yeah.
But on most days, it's me and Luke doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the ragtag duo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, actually, that's an interesting point, too. So, I mean, I was on a job with you guys over the summer where Dave and Kyle were both booked for real estate stuff. And what's it like hiring out people and, like, kind of managing that network? Because that specific day, we had people from Federal Grip & Co., from Fresh Fly Films, me and Mac and Laura, all interns / freelancers. So what's that been like?
To be honest, that is like a dream come true for me. So and we are still pretty young as a company, and we've been growing. And
I mean, Oakleaf Media is that young company, a bunch of young guys.
So that's been it's been awesome to be able to take on projects that have enough of a budget where we can build a good professional team and still be a profitable company at the end of the year. I have a family. Like, the bottom line is, like, this is my career, this is my job, and I would love to make as much money as I possibly can on each job. But, as the more I've invested in, the more that we as a company have invested in the quality of what we're putting out, the image and the sound, and the more has come to us. So it's a balance. It's a tightrope walk. You know, you have to sacrifice and you have to put, you know, for example, I have $1,000 job and I know that like XYZ DP costs me $750, and this is like just some arbitrary number, but you know, that was the decision that we had to make at some point. Do we hire this person because they are the best at what they do, and we suddenly are barely making money on this project, but we do it because we love the project more than we love the money? And that was probably the turning point for us, and we're still going through that process. But putting the money on the screen has been very rewarding.
Mm-hmm. So then, I mean, Oakleaf has been around for, is it 5 or 6 years now? Is it?
Like I said, we started the
Unofficially,
unofficial.
yeah.
I think officially on the books, maybe we're in our fourth or going into our fourth or something like that.
Yeah.
As an LLC.
But so I'm curious also because I would like to know, as a potential future employee, who knows? But
It's like the most awkward interview, like
Oh, yeah.
job interview
Oh,
ever.
yeah.
It's like, yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
So, but just in general too, like, where do you want to take Oakleaf? Like, where do you see it, and where do you want to bring it to?
Dave, Kyle, and myself have always been lovers of media, music, movies, and television, and we set out to be creators and owners of intellectual property. That's still been my dream for a very long time, and I realize the more I grow up that dreams are just work, you know, that hasn't been done yet. So we want to make movies, and we are still headed in that direction. We are a little bit jaded the older we get and the harder that it becomes, but that is our intention, to create intellectual properties that hopefully hold some value for us as a company.
Awesome.
What about you guys? Where do you guys want to go?
Well, I guess I'll
Yeah,
go first.
Yeah, you go first.
I was actually just in a meeting with one of our professors trying to figure out what I want to do for my senior seminar, which is something you get like to use on your resume once you graduate. And our school here offers two. One's more like marketing, PR, and then one is what Luke did.
Well,
And
no, there's the marketing PR, and then there's the general one, and then
that one's more market. It's for marketing, like
yeah.
not really production. And then Luke made one that was for production that's like film centric. But the problem with me is I am not film centric. I don't know why. I take direction. I'm very technical. I could do cameras. I'm mainly a TD for, I'm a production assistant. So I do TD, I do floor managing, stuff like that. So usually I'm in like a studio environment, live stuff. So I'm kind of having trouble placing myself in an internship and stuff like that, because I can do any of the technical work, but people usually want people who can go out, get a story, film it, edit it, all that kind of stuff. And I'm kind of just lost there.
So you
guess.
have to go outside of your comfort zone, or you're just waiting to find one that is in your comfort zone.
Well, no. I'm willing to go outside of my comfort zone, but I don't know where to go. It's like, it's kind of this awkward, like my professors are trying to find like a solution for me, like a studio internship, or just maybe like work with the media company here and just be their camera person when they go out on shoots or something. But I'm not sure yet. I have until May kind of to figure it out.
Is that like your thesis? Is that like
that
the
was
final?
my class.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
how I made the film last spring.
Yeah. No, we were talking about it because if I were going to do one of the two that they do offer, I would do the more film one and go out and do a project. And they were thinking maybe just go out and film like a news package or something. So that's like looking like more of an option to me right now. But I don't know. I'm in a quarter life crisis. Currently, I'm at 23. So
You're 2 years early.
2 years early. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the good news is it sounds like you have a bunch of people around you at the school that are, figuring out your crisis with you. So it's,
No, I'm very appreciative of it too. So yeah, definitely. So, how about you?
I want to make movies.
That's it.
I love movies. Gosh, I love movies. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know this. I just want to make movies, and I mean, we're writing a movie. Yeah.
Are we?
Yes, we are.
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. How is it a spoiler? We didn't say anything about the movie. They'll have to wait and find out.
Could have been a secret. You don't know.
The twist is we're not writing a movie. We've done this so many times. It's not real. It's real. Don't worry.
He's lying to you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just like where I'm at now, kind of like working freelance jobs. Just as long as like the job I'm doing is in the field, I'm happy with that. Because like, it's hard to go back to doing work that's like nothing related to this now. Now that I graduated, it's like doing like film related work or just media related work in general. It's like a breath of fresh air where it's like I enjoy going to work because it's what I've been working towards for a long time. So like as long as I'm working on something media, like even doing audio, I'll do it, you know, just because I'm happier here, you know.
Stay on that grind, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, Brendan, thank you for being on. We appreciate it. So you guys can check out Oakleaf Media on Instagram and Facebook. And well, actually, before we're gone, you should talk about the documentaries you guys did because you can find them online, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Plug your stuff, bro.
We created a feature-length film in association with Corrine Ruff, who is the director, and Angela Anderson, who is the producer and production partner and executive producer of Jetty Rock Foundation. The film is called The Oyster Farmers, and you can, I think, purchase and rent it on Amazon. So that was our first feature-length film, and it got distribution through a company called Virgil Films last year, so we were really excited about that. And that's available now on Amazon, iTunes, I believe, anywhere you can purchase digitally, I think. So I think it's also, you can check out theoysterfarmers.com. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I think that's
Well,
all
you
I
got
can
to plug it, though.
You got to plug it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, Oakleaf Media is on Instagram and Facebook, and then website and Vimeo too. So if you're looking for a video to be made too, you can check it out.
Yeah, also that.
Yeah.
Like, hire us as well. I
Yes.
forget. Like I said, the marketing thing. We're not.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, Brendan. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you guys. I think this is very cool. I am now an avid listener. You've made it past 7 episodes.
Oh, that's
my
right.
gosh, yes.
We would have forgot.
Yeah, so in the first episode, I mentioned that most podcasts make it to 7 episodes and then fail. But, this is our 8th episode, so
We out here.
we're out here. We're out
We
here.
made it.
So we're succeeding.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's going to go up from here. We have a lot of guests planned, so.
We do.
Yeah.
And we'll have you back on too. I want to bring Dave and Kyle on too at some
the whole
point.
squad. Okay, you need
Oh.
a couple microphones.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
We really do.
Yes.
Or Kyle can just like sit like right here and just stare at the camera the whole
that's what
time.
I'll do.
Yeah. But yeah, so thank you again, Brendan. We
Thanks,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys.